It's got to be, oh, let me get rid of this ball. And we can make. I don't think Adon Schuler this time is going to sit there and wait for the fucking thing. I think he's got to go out there and get the ball this time. I think he's getting his ass chewed out right now at practice this week.
Yeah, I think Freeman in that video. I like the on me. We're gonna go out. We're gonna get the next. But I think Freeman is laying it in.
Yeah. Another thing I didn't like really quick before we go to offense. I want to say it was late in the third quarter. Miami was driving, or it was sometime in the third quarter. Miami was driving, or it might have been the second quarter, one of the two. There was a third, and it was one of those that drive that Miami just kept converting on third and long. Like we'd get them in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
Yeah.
And they kept getting. I think it was a 3rd and 9, and Gray had underneath coverage with Schuler over the top, and Schuler didn't stay in his zone and allowed Malachi Tony, or it was either Tony or Daniels, to get a first down. And I remember seeing in person after the play, Christian Gray just go like this and just start freaking out on Adon Schuler. And he's like, what are you doing? This is your zone. Stay in your zone. And Adon Schuler just kind of waves him off and goes. And I'm like, that's not great to see. Like, you don't want to, and I get it, you want to have a vocal leader, but for your captain to just kind of be like, whatever. Like, to me, that wasn't a good look. And maybe I'm overanalyzing stuff, but we didn't see that from last year's team. Like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like there's that camaraderie with this year's team that there was last year.
I think there's.
I'm not gonna lie. I like that we. Go ahead.
Oh, I just think we have some, but I mean, it's hard to reciprocate losing to Northern Illinois and building together like that again. So I do think a lot of the people are back, and we have camaraderie. But they're gonna have to build it after this.
Yeah. One thing I do like is that we have the 2-week break, or we have the week off from the game, because that means now practice. It's got to be about A&M, but you also give time to dig in on the mistakes you made going that game. Because I think if we beat A&M, I think it gives us a little bit more breathing room compared to before. I've talked to most college football fans, like most SEC, and it's crazy coming from SEC fans because the amount of times they bitched last year about how the college football playoffs came out. They think if us with 2 losses, but as long as we beat A&M and we beat USC, like let's say if we drop a game to Pitt or if we drop a game to Arkansas, we still have a decent chance at making the playoffs. Because then a 2-loss Notre Dame with a win against a top 25 USC and a top 25 A&M, like it's got to look better than an ACC school that doesn't have a single top 25 compared to last year.
Yeah, which we'll get into.
The ACC looks damn good this year.
They do look very good.
But
or Alabama just like shit.
I mean, we'll talk about offense. Ryan, you were at the game.
Yeah, so offensively, I think it's one of those things, right? I think the offensive line played terrible. Let's just be honest. Gerby Lambert, he had that one good block on the CJ Carr touchdown run to, get the game-winning or game-tying touchdown. But I can't really judge him off that because if you go back and watch that replay, that was 7 blockers against 5 Miami defenders. So that was pretty easy to do. I don't really know necessarily how you fix this. I know that I think for sure you got to move Knapp to left guard. And maybe that means you move Strouth to right guard. And when Jagasaw comes back, you put him back at left tackle. Or, I don't know, like in the meantime, do you start the true freshman Styles Prescott? Do you start the true freshman Will Black? Are they ready? I know, like Styles Prescott, it was limited snaps, but he did seem to play a little better than Knapp did at the left tackle position.
I think Knapp was just gassed, and I think the humidity and everything got to him. I mean, you got to give we got to give him more than one game sample before we say a bunch of that stuff. I will say.
I think we're definitely going to see him play left tackle against A&M.
And I think he'll improve against A&M.
Yeah. I think Jagasaw's back week 5.
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think by then we'll have enough where we can make that decision. I think right now he's going to play left tackle.
The only offensive line change that I could see is potentially Apsher over Lambert.
Did either of them really play? I don't really know if you could tell that much of a difference with either one of them. I know Freeman said
Apsher's biggest mistake was the freaking QB draw play or QB power play.
Yeah.
Like, but besides that, like it's kind of what we expected. Like he wasn't gonna beat the top edge rusher in the class. He was gonna be the top edge rusher in college football. But the biggest mistake was that QB power play and QB draw play. I think realistically, like I think this O line can handle himself against A&M. I don't think A&M's anywhere near this Miami D line at all.
no.
No offense to A&M, it's just like it's like when we bring up the running back thing, like Miami has a good running back room, but they know when they're not. It's just when they're that good. But I also think realistically, this is a game where we're gonna have a lot of overreactions because we got torched. We got torched by the best pass rushing team in the country. Like at the end of the season, I guarantee you, we'll be saying Miami or Georgia is one of the two. That one of them is going to be the best pass rushing team in the country.
You wouldn't put South Carolina up there with Dylan Stewart?
Nope. South Carolina did not impress me against Virginia Tech. That looked like a team that was.
And that's where the overreaction with rushing 4. Everyone's like, we couldn't get pressure. Miami has a top 5-3 offensive line in college football. I think we're going to be able to get pressure with 4 against other offensive lines.
Well, here's the thing. This just briefly on A&M. A&M has a height and weight across the board. They have a bigger offensive line than Miami did. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean bigger means more talented.
Yeah.
But with the weight concerns with Heinisch, that's something that I feel like that's one thing. Heinisch can't start. Heinisch cannot start. Like, we're getting back to defense a little bit, but that I just don't think you got to start Jared Dawson or Anye next to Rubio. Like that, I think that's
Rubio's by himself out there.
Dawson looked great.
He did.
Dawson did look great, yeah.
But for some reason, we didn't play him.
Probably our best defensive lineman. I will say, if you would have told me if Carr played as good as he played, I would have thought we would have won. If there was one pro to this, it's damn, we have a quarterback. Yeah. Like, we have a quarterback, a no-look touchdown pass, a deep shot throw to Malachi Fields. Like, it's exciting to see.
If I told you guys prior to this game, without a doubt, like I said, definitively, CJ Carr is going to have 3 total touchdowns and throw for over 200 yards. He's going to out-throw Carson Beck.
We win by 30.
I'd say we win.
But you guys would probably.
I would ask you if Carson Beck played the end of the game. Like I would. Like this is just.
You would probably think I was fucking crazy.
Expecting. Yeah. This is an outcome really no one was expecting. Like even who was it last week? The Miami fan we had on the Miami. Devin, was that his name? Jaden. Even he said he thought it'd come down to CJ Carr has to make that play and he's not going to be able to do it. But CJ Carr went out there and made that play. He made that play in the second last drive. Of course, a 1-minute drill. I don't count as that play. I think he was more saying go build a drive type of thing.
But does that make it seem like what if Miami their defense? What if their defensive backs aren't as good and that's why? I don't know yet, but I do think that it makes me worry. I'm like, please stay. He's going to stay at least 2 years because he has to, but please stay a third year. But I will give Denbrock credit for this. I think the way we started the game was perfect because a lot of people were saying, run, run, run. I think it was very smart to get your first-time starting quarterback on the first drive of the game and get the training wheels off and start throwing it because I don't think Miami expected that, and we were moving the ball. So I will say early in the game, I think Denbrock had a good game plan. And I like the fact that we were throwing early.
I don't think the problem was I think he kept the training wheels on too long.
Yes.
I don't know about that. There was a lot of plays out there that you kind of felt like you trusted them to make plays, especially on that Eli Reardon play. That's a play
Yeah.
you don't have here. That's a play you don't have here.
Thank you. A lot of people, I'm sure, I mean, to me, and I think he's very talented and a great player. Bottom three worst performance. That big catch saved his performance with how many drops that he had in this game.
Oh, Raritan, yeah. The amount of times he just dropped the ball, I'm like, dude, you're 6'8", you can jump out the gym, you're super athletic, but it doesn't mean anything if you have, bricks for hands. Like, I don't know what his problem was, but no, what I was meaning, like, with the training wheels on too long, I'm saying, like, yeah, in the fourth quarter, the training wheels came off because you kind of had to, right? You had no other choice. But I'm saying maybe they should have came off in the third quarter. Maybe they should have came off maybe later in the second quarter. Like, that's where I'm thinking, like, maybe it went on a little too long.
I think that Malachi Fields play was when the training wheels came off.
And when was that? That was
third quarter. That was the second touchdown.
Yeah, I can agree.
Okay.
I think our wide receivers most improved unit this year. I think they looked great. Of course, we didn't see Greathouse much, but Faison looked good. Besides that fumble, Fields made a great catch. You had Gilbert in the end zone get that touchdown, right?
Just because we're talking about it. So Ryan Fravel, is Jaden Greathouse still a second-round pick after this game?
Gotta see it.
Oh, come on.
But I think we could all agree that main point of offense is Jeremiah Love only getting the ball 10 times. And I did tell a lot of people who weren't Notre Dame fans, Jeremiah Love is not the running back that's going to get 30 carries because we have Price, because we have the other running backs. Price came in and looked good coming in besides that fumble, and he didn't play the rest of the game really because of that fumble. But Jeremiah Love should not have had 10 touches.
There should be no game. There should be not one single game in any realm of the world where CJ Carr has more carries than Jeremiah Love.
You want to know? I agree with that, but I also think another thing is we had 2 drives end on the turnover before we came to the first down. I feel like that has a lot to do with it. And 2, I went back and watched the condensed game, so I only saw most of the completions and the big plays. But at least on 3 of those wide receiver screens, tunnel screen completions, 3 of those were RPOs that I think CJ Carr probably should have handed the ball off on. Like one of them, Jeremiah Love had a giant hole that he was running through. And you've seen that joke, the guy throws his hand up, what the hell? When the quarterback throws it and he misses the throw by a mile, that's one of those holes. So I think that's to do with that as well.
He is, and this is where I'm giving the break. That's why Notre Dame fans need to relax. We played a top 10 team on the road, and it was his first career start. We lost by 3.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be
amazing.
Okay.
He played amazing. I do want to ask this question about Carr. Did CJ Carr, have the best performance of any of the first-time Week 1 starters? That's Julian Sayin. So CJ Carr, Julian Sayin. I guess
no. Second
can,
best behind one quarterback, and do you know which one?
He did better than Bryce Underwood. We're not going to say he did worse than Bryce Underwood. You can't.
I think he was second best behind the California quarterback.
I'm not counting the California quarterback, bro. He's playing for Cal. They're not making the play. They have no playoff aspirations.
He looked great.
He did look great. He
looked good. But when I talk about it, I'm talking about the teams who have playoff aspirations and they need their quarterback to come in and be good enough for them to win games.
Yes,
I think the best out of Underwood, Simpson. What was the other one?
Carr.
Moore. It was Carr, Underwood, Julian Sayin, Arch Manning, Dante Moore, and Ty Simpson. I think he did the best out of those 6.